Megan, thanks a lot for taking the time. What can you tell us more about what you found at the border?
Well, it's unlike anything you could possibly imagine, JD, and I found that perhaps the best place to start the journey was actually not in the United States at all, but slightly across the border in one of the many border towns that dots the port of entry areas in this country. So we started in the Sonoran Desert, in the Sonoran State, in a small town called Sasabe, Mexico and Arizona. Take a look.
If they can't walk a mile from downtown to the shelter, to the center, they shouldn't be going into the United States. If they can't do that mile walk, they'll never be able to do the 75-mile walk on the other side.
The port of entry in Sasabe, Arizona is blink and you'll miss it small, surrounded by endless desert. The Mexican side isn't much bigger, but it is here that Tucson Samaritans run Casa de la Esperanza, House of Hope.
133/83, which I think is not bad for a young man.
Here, migrants who have been deported to Sasabe or who are using this as their final stop before attempted cross into the U.S. can grab water, a hot meal, and new clothing. It's also here that we meet Victor.
I don't have problem with the police, like to drink, no drugs, no stealing, I like it too, yeah.
Victor is from Mexico. He lived in the U.S. for many years, but when his young daughter moved south of the border with her mother, he followed. Now he's trying to go back north for her, to give her a better life.
I work 14 hours per day. I can't pay the bills. It's very expensive. I need to work it too much. En México yo trabajo 7 días. Estados Unidos trabajo 40 horas.
But crossing for migrants like Victor isn't as simple as trying to hop a fence. Towns like Sasabe are controlled by cartels. That means crossing here comes with strings and a strict schedule. Cartels closely control who crosses, where, and when. They also often require smuggling as a rite of passage. The Migrant Center in Sasabe is the last stop for many before facing a 40-foot border fence and then 75 miles of harsh and unforgiving desert. The infamous border wall has been a political football, but here it's just a reality for both countries and the people who try to cross.
I've had people say, you're helping them illegals. And I always say, well, nobody's illegal. Man made the walls and put up the lines. It's all man-made and it's all political.
This area of Arizona has been completely reshaped by the imposing metal structure that cuts across the Sonoran landscape. But its presence and unfinished profile haven't deterred migration.
People are coming from all over the world there, not just from Central America or South America. They're coming from all over the world. So we have to look deeper than just having hatred for our next door neighbor.
The desert is littered with evidence of where migrants have been and where they're going. The Tucson Samaritans have a simple mission. They want to prevent deaths out here in the heat by providing water and food, as well as first aid and clothing.
Dying in a place like this is not a pleasant experience. Dying from thirst is painful, and it's a horrible thing to have somebody go through. If you've ever been thirsty, you know it's not a pleasant feeling. If you've ever been dehydrated, it's even worse. If you've had heat stroke, you know how serious it can be pretty fast.
Through the winding roads, we watch for signs of migrants. As we make our way back to Tucson, signs of the worst outcomes stand as a stark reminder of the harsh environment and the mission of the Samaritans.
The only way people could understand what's going on is to see it. People ask me all the time, how can I change things? How can I what can I do when I go back to New York or Minnesota or Michigan? And I said, tell your story. Take pictures and tell the story.